This summer is shaping up to be brutal. And not just the usual grab some ice cream and sit in front of the fan kind of heat. We're talking record-breaking, skin-scorching, power grid-destroying heat. Multiple weather agencies are sounding the alarm. Temperatures are expected to soar higher than ever before. And here's where it gets even worse. Our aging electrical grid? It's not built to handle this kind of demand. That means blackouts. Not just short ones either, but rolling blackouts that leave you without AC for hours, maybe even days. Imagine this. It's 110 degrees, your fans are dead, your fridge is melting down, your phone's on 3%, and there's no breeze. Just thick, stagnant air. The power's out and it's not coming back anytime soon. Will you be ready when that happens? Or will you be drenched in sweat, gasping for relief, wishing you'd planned ahead? In this video, I'm going to share 10 survival tactics to keep your body cool and your sanity intact when the lights go out and the heat closes in. Because once the power's gone, it's not just about comfort, it's about survival. Let's dive into the ways you can outsmart this summer blackout nightmare before it's too late. 1. Hide from the heat. Shade isn't optional, it's survival. When the grid crashes and the heat moves in like a predator, the sun becomes your enemy. We're not just talking discomfort here. We're talking heat stroke territory, the kind that sends people to emergency rooms in droves. Without power, you can't rely on your AC to save you. That means your only real defense is to hide from the heat like your life depends on it, because it just might. Start by sealing up your home. If the temperature outside is hotter than inside, and trust me, it will be, keep every window and door closed during daylight hours. Draw the blinds. Shut the curtains. Drape sheets or blankets over windows if necessary. You are creating a heat bunker. Sunlight pouring through a single pane of glass can turn your room into an oven within minutes. Don't give it the chance. Pick the coolest room in your house. This is your base of operations. Typically, that's a ground level or basement room that faces away from the setting sun. Hot air rises, so if you're in a 2-story home, upstairs is a no-go zone. Seal off doors to unused or hotter areas to stop warm air from migrating into your cooler sanctuary. At night, everything changes. Temperatures may drop fast, especially in dry climates. This is your window to breathe. Open windows and strategically place fans to pull cooler air in and push the warm air out. Position one fan to blow fresh air in from the shaded side of the house and another at an opposite window to act as an exhaust. Cross ventilation is your best shot at resetting your internal house temperature. If you have to go outside, treat the sun like radiation. Avoid it. Shade is your shield. If there's no natural shade, make it. Rig up tarps, use umbrellas, or even hang wet sheets as sunblocks. The temperature difference between standing in the shade and being in direct sun can be 10 to 15 degrees, or more. That can literally be the difference between managing and medical emergency. The key? Don't chase comfort, chase survival. Stay low, stay shaded, stay smart. 2. Light without heat. Your life could depend on it. When the sun goes down, you'd think the danger eases. But the night brings new threats. A pitch-black house isn't just inconvenient, it's dangerous. You need light to move, to see, to stay safe. But here's the catch. Not all light sources are created equal. Use the wrong one, and you'll turn your already overheated space into a furnace. Say goodbye to candles and traditional incandescent bulbs. They might give off a cozy glow during a winter storm, but in a summer blackout, they're the last thing you want. Even a single candle can raise the ambient temperature in a small, enclosed room. Multiply that by 5 or 6 scattered around a space and you've created a heat trap. Instead, think tactical. LED lights are your new best friend. They produce almost zero heat, use very little energy, and can last for hours or even days on a single charge. Battery-powered LED lanterns can light up an entire room without making it feel like a sauna. Make sure you have several in your blackout kit. Glow sticks might seem like something from a kid's birthday party, but in an emergency, they're a low-heat, no-fuss way to mark hallways, stairs, or sleeping areas. Toss a few into your prep bag now. You won't regret it when the lights are out and your hands are full. Now let's talk about battery management. In a grid-down situation, your flashlight is only as good as your batteries. Keep a stash of fresh ones, rotate them regularly, and store them properly. Better yet, invest in a hand-crank flashlight or a solar-powered lantern. That way, no matter what happens, you'll never be in the dark. Want to go even further? Use reflective surfaces. A small LED light placed in front of a mirror or a piece of foil can brighten an entire room. That's resourceful survival at its finest. Maximum light, minimum heat. Finally, don't underestimate the psychological power of light. Darkness breeds fear, disorientation, and panic. Light calms. It keeps your mind sharp and your movements safe. But only if it doesn't push your temperature into the danger zone. So remember, When the power's out and the heat is already closing in, every extra degree matters. Light smart, stay cool, and most importantly, stay alive. 3. Air circulation. Move the air or the heat will suffocate you. When the power dies and the air turns thick, stagnant, and suffocating, a lack of circulation becomes more than just uncomfortable. It becomes dangerous. In extreme heat, still air traps your body's warmth, turning rooms into pressure cookers. The human body depends on airflow to help cool itself. When sweat can't evaporate, your internal temperature skyrockets. That's when heat exhaustion slips into heat stroke, and heat stroke kills. Your first line of defense? Fans. Small battery-powered fans can be lifesavers. Even a modest breeze across damp skin can lower your perceived temperature by several degrees. If you have the means, stock up on personal handheld fans, especially ones that mist water. These little devices may look like toys, but in a blackout, they're tools of survival. Add ice to their water tank, and they become a portable oasis. Got a backup power source? Don't waste it on luxury, use it to power fans. A simple 12V battery, solar generator, or power bank can keep air moving for hours. Place fans strategically, near windows at night to pull in cooler air, or in the center of your cool room during the day to keep the air from going stale. Here's a smart hack. Place a large bowl of ice or frozen water bottles directly in front of the fan. The fan will blow air over the ice, creating a crude but effective DIY air conditioner. It won't drop your room temperature like a real AC, but it could bring it down just enough to keep your body from overheating. If the weather cools outside at night, take advantage. Open windows on opposite sides of the house and place fans to draw cool air in and push hot air out. That cross-ventilation can mean the difference between a bearable night's sleep and a waking nightmare. If you're lucky enough to have a generator or portable solar array, consider investing in an evaporative air cooler or a low-power AC unit. These devices can run on minimal electricity and are remarkably efficient in dry climates. Units like the EcoFlow Wave can cool a small room with just a fraction of the energy required by traditional air conditioners. Even then, use them smartly. Prioritize children, elderly family members, or those with health issues. Your equipment could save a life. Extreme heat circulation isn't comfort, it's crisis control. Move the air, move the heat, or the heat will move in on you. 4. Cooling devices build your fortress against the fire. During a summer blackout, your home can turn into a heat trap. Walls radiate warmth, air stands still, and the temperature climbs hour after hour. In that scenario, having the right cooling devices can feel like holding a secret weapon. But here's the terrifying part. Most people don't own a single one. When the grid is down, your central air conditioning is useless. Your wall unit, dead weight. The only thing keeping your space livable is what you've planned for in advance. If you haven't prepped, you're already behind. Start with evaporative coolers. These aren't just gadgets, they're emergency tools. They work by pulling warm air through water-soaked pads, which cools it down before circulating it. They're most effective in dry climates, and they're far more efficient than portable ACs when it comes to power consumption. Add ice to the water tray to supercharge its cooling power. Best part? It can run on solar batteries or small generators. Then there are portable air conditioners, and while they demand more juice, they're invaluable if you have someone vulnerable in the home. These units can drop the temperature in a single room by 10 to 15 degrees in under an hour, potentially life-saving for infants, the elderly, or people with medical conditions. But remember, their appetite for power is high. If you're relying on a generator, you'll need to budget your fuel, or better yet, pair them with solar setups. For the tech-savvy and prepared battery-powered air conditioning units like the EcoFlow Wave series offer a balance between portability and efficiency. They're compact, powerful, and designed to work in off-grid scenarios. With solar input, you can keep them running longer without draining backup batteries. Yes, they're an investment. But when your house feels like an oven and the grid stays dark for days, you'll wish you had one. Let's not forget ice, the ancient, underrated survival tool. Freeze water bottles ahead of time and store them in every available inch of freezer space. When the power goes out, these become emergency cooling blocks. Place them in front of fans, under pillows, or next to your body to draw away heat. A bathtub filled with cold water and ice can act as a last resort cooling chamber. The truth is, you're in a race against the heat, and the heat doesn't play fair. Don't rely on luck. Build your fortress with every cooling device you can afford, because when the power fails and the temperatures soar, your preparation will decide whether you just sweat it out or survive it. 5. Loose clothing. Your fabric might be the difference between life and death. When a deadly heat wave knocks out your power, what you wear could literally determine how your body handles the crisis. You might not think much about clothes when you're focused on fans and freezing bottles of water, but trust this. Your clothing could either trap the heat in or help your body fight for survival. Start by stripping down. No, not fully, but get smart. Loose, breathable, minimal layers are the golden rule here. The more air that can move across your skin, the better your body can cool itself through sweat evaporation. That's not just about comfort, it's about preventing your core temperature from rising to critical levels. Ditch synthetic fabrics and heavy materials. Polyester, nylon, spandex, they trap heat like plastic wrap. Instead, opt for natural fibers like cotton and linen. These materials are breathable and allow airflow, giving your skin room to breathe and sweat a chance to work its cooling magic. Next, think color. Dark clothing absorbs the sun's rays, heating your body like a sponge soaking up fire. Light-colored fabrics reflect those rays, buying you precious degrees of comfort. Whites, pale blues, soft grays, this is not a fashion statement, it's tactical dressing. Here's a bonus survival hack: microfiber cooling towels. These aren't gimmicks. When soaked in water and draped around the neck, they act like mini air conditioners for your arteries. Blood flowing through your neck gets cooled, lowering your core body temperature faster than you'd think. You can also wrap one around your head, wrists, or ankles, the major heat points of the body. Re-wet it often to keep the effect going. Another trick? Soak your cotton shirt in cool water before wearing it. As the moisture evaporates, it pulls heat from your skin. Just don't do this in areas of high humidity. It only works when evaporation can actually occur. Bottom line, if you're wearing tight jeans and a black hoodie during a blackout heat wave, you're wearing your coffin. Dress like survival depends on it, because it does. 6. Hydrotherapy. Drench yourself or risk collapse. In a summer power outage, water becomes your life force. And no, we're not talking about sipping a few ounces when you feel thirsty. We're talking full-on hydrotherapy survival. When the grid fails and the heat pushes in like a relentless wave, water is your only true escape hatch. Ignore it, and the heat will win. Start with the most critical tactic: cool baths or showers. If your home still has water pressure, don't waste time. Get in. Submerging your body in cool, not icy water will bring your internal temperature down quickly, which can be life-saving during early signs of heat exhaustion. Keep the bathroom door closed to trap the cool humidity inside. You've just created a makeshift cooling chamber. No running water? No problem. Use your melted ice. Remember that freezer full of ice packs and frozen bottles? They're not just for fans anymore. Fill a bowl with the ice and cold water and soak your hands, feet, or wrists. This rapidly cools your blood and offers significant relief. You can even dab the icy water on your forehead, back of your neck, and behind your knees, major heat dumping zones. Hydration isn't just helpful, it's non-negotiable. When you're sweating buckets and the air feels like a furnace, your body is losing water faster than you realize. Drink early and drink often. Waiting until you feel thirsty? Too late. That's already a sign you're behind the curve and moving toward dangerous dehydration. Stockpile more than just plain water. Coconut water, electrolyte powders, and sports drinks can replenish essential minerals like potassium and sodium that your body loses in sweat. Without those minerals, even drinking water can't save you. You'll get dizzy, weak, and confused. And here's something many overlook. Avoid caffeine and alcohol like they're poison, because in this situation, they might as well be. Both act as diuretics, draining more water from your system and leaving you vulnerable to heat-related illnesses. Got pets? Don't forget them. Dogs, cats, even birds, they're just as at risk. Keep their water bowls full, offer shade, and if they start panting heavily or acting lethargic, wet their fur down with cool water. When the power is gone and the heat refuses to back down, water is your weapon. Drink it, soak in it, use it wisely. Because once your body overheats, there's no switch to flip and cool it down. There's only you and what you did or didn't do in time. 7. Ice packs, your melting lifeline in a heat apocalypse. When the power dies and your home transforms into a heat trap, ice becomes a precious commodity, and not just for sipping lukewarm drinks. Ice is your secret weapon in the war against rising body temperature. If you've got it, use it with precision. If you don't, you may be one long, sweaty night away from heat exhaustion, or worse. Before the grid goes down, fill every available space in your freezer with water bottles, ice trays, and ice packs. These frozen lifelines won't just help keep your food cold. They're a literal first aid kit against extreme heat. The science is simple. Ice absorbs heat as it melts, pulling dangerous warmth away from your body and replacing it with a cooling shock that can stabilize your core temperature. Target the body's major heat release points: the neck, wrists, armpits, and groin. These pulse zones have blood vessels close to the surface, so pressing an ice pack here cools your entire system more efficiently. Lay back, place ice at your temples or under your knees, and breathe, because every chilled minute could buy you safety. Want a quick and brutal fix? Crunch soft ice or suck on ice cubes. It cools from the inside out. It's fast, it's harsh, and it works. Ice ingestion helps lower internal body temperature and wards off the disorientation and nausea that come with overheating. Now let's talk next-level survival. Turn your coolest room into a makeshift cooling station. Place a fan behind a bowl of ice or a tray of frozen water bottles. As the fan blows, it pushes chilled air into the room while accelerating the melting process. It's not fancy, but it's effective. And during a blackout, you don't need luxury. You need results. If the power outage stretches for hours or even days, rotate your ice strategically. Prioritize people with the highest risk: infants, elderly family members, and anyone with a chronic illness. Use towels to wrap melting packs so they don't soak bedding or clothing, and collect the cold meltwater to drink later. No drop goes to waste. In this fight against the heat, ice is more than a comfort. It's a controlled counterattack. Once it's gone, your defense weakens. Use it wisely, because the heat doesn't stop just because you're out of options. It only gets meaner. 8. Know your area. Escape routes when your home becomes a furnace. Let's be brutally honest. Your home might not be the safest place to ride out a summer blackout. When the power's gone and the temperatures climb into the danger zone, your walls turn into heat radiators, and every room becomes a ticking time bomb. That's why knowing your surroundings isn't just helpful. It's absolutely critical to your survival. Many people cling to their homes during crises. But during a relentless heat wave, staying put might be your biggest mistake. Cities and towns across the country know the dangers of grid failure during summer, and many set up emergency cooling centers just for this reason. These are your lifelines. Places like libraries, schools, community halls, and even churches equipped with backup generators and powerful AC systems designed to keep people alive. Don't wait for the heat to hit to start searching. Research your local emergency response plans now. Visit your city's website, contact your emergency management office, and locate the nearest cooling centers before disaster strikes. Make a list, save their addresses, plot a route, and don't just think government buildings. Shopping malls, large grocery stores, movie theaters, and public gyms often have massive AC units and backup power. They might not be official cooling centers, but they're often open and operational when the grid flickers out. These places can buy you hours of relief and possibly even save your life. If all else fails, nature can offer a temporary reprieve. Parks with mature trees, forest preserves, and shaded bodies of water can be 10 to 15 degrees cooler than your home. Sit under thick tree canopies. Wade into a stream. Position yourself where breezes are funneled through natural terrain. It's survival by geography. Of course, going outside isn't without risk. If you leave your house during peak heat, prepare like you're walking into a war zone. Wear a wide-brimmed hat. Slather on high SPF sunscreen. Bring plenty of water. Stay in the shade. And never venture far unless you're sure you can return safely or get to a better cooled location. Also, check on your neighbors, especially the elderly or those without transportation. One call, one knock on the door can mean the difference between someone surviving or silently suffering. In a summer power outage, survival isn't just about what's in your house. It's about what's beyond your front door. Know your escape routes. Know your city. Know where to go. Because the moment your walls start sweating, it's time to get out before you're cooked from the inside out. 9. Open up. Let the night breathe life back into your home. In a deadly summer power outage, your home becomes a pressure cooker, each wall radiating the sun's fury long after sunset. And yet there's a narrow window of salvation, the cool of the night. But if you don't act fast and smart, that chance slips away, and your home becomes just as unforgiving as the scorching day outside. As soon as the sun dips below the horizon, it's go time. Don't wait. Step outside and feel the air. If it's even slightly cooler out than inside your home, start the purge. Open every window. Unbolt every door. Let your overheated house exhale. The goal? Dump the trapped heat before it sets up camp overnight. Use your fans like weapons. Create a battle plan for airflow. Position one fan in a window to suck the heat out, and another across the room to pull in fresh, cooler air. If you're lucky enough to have an attic fan or whole house fan, fire it up immediately. These powerful tools can evacuate a house full of stale, hot air in minutes, if you use them before outside temps start to climb again. And here's a pro tip. Focus on windows that face east. After sunset, the west side of your home radiates heat like a dying star, but the east tends to cool faster. Pull cooler night air from that side and push it across the house to flush out the warmth. This simple strategy can drop indoor temperatures by several degrees overnight, and that margin could keep your core temperature from tipping into dangerous territory. But the window of relief doesn't last long. As dawn breaks, everything shifts. The air outside starts to warm rapidly, and by mid-morning your house will start heating up again. This is when you strike again. Close every window. Draw every curtain. Cover windows with reflective material if you can. Trap the cool air you've worked so hard to gain. Think of your house like a sealed vault, cool on the inside, shielded from the heat outside. Your survival hinges on playing this cycle right. One mistake, leaving a window cracked too long, or delaying the overnight exchange, and the temperature inside can climb back into the danger zone before you're even fully awake. When the grid is down and the heat is closing in, your best chance at resetting the thermostat is with the power of the night. Use it or sweat through a brutal day of regret. 10. Slow down. The heat is hunting movement. Here's the hard truth. During a severe summer blackout, your greatest enemy might be yourself. Every movement, every task, every step you take ramps up your internal body temperature. And when the heat outside is merciless and there's no AC to save you, that self-generated heat can push your body right over the edge. So stop. Literally, stop moving. Now is not the time to deep clean the kitchen, reorganize the garage, or even take a brisk walk around the block. In heat waves, people collapse not because they're unprepared, but because they don't know when to slow down. Your body is a furnace. When you move, it burns hotter. And without electricity to power fans or air conditioning, your body has no way to efficiently dump that excess heat. So unless you're performing essential tasks, like checking on a vulnerable neighbor or moving to a cooling shelter, you need to embrace the art of doing absolutely nothing. Stay still, lay low, rest in the coolest, darkest part of your home. If you must move, make it slow and deliberate. Even cooking can be risky. Turning on a stove or oven during a power outage will turn your kitchen into a literal heat trap. When the grid goes dark and the heat begins its slow, merciless assault, survival comes down to one thing: preparation. These aren't just comfort tips, they're life-preserving strategies. A summer power outage isn't just inconvenient, it's potentially lethal. The temperature inside your home can rise faster than you think, especially when airflow stops and humidity creeps in. Heat exhaustion can turn into heat stroke before you realize you're in danger. You now know how to shield yourself with shade, fight back with ice and water, move the air, and retreat into cool zones. You've seen how vital clothing, hydration, and even knowing your surroundings can be in keeping your body temperature under control. But knowing isn't enough. Act now. Stockpile ice. Charge your battery-powered fans. Learn where the cooling centers are. Build your defense before the next blackout hits, because when it does, there's no do-over. You'll either sweat it out in misery or stay cool with confidence. Don't let the heat catch you off guard. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and get ready. Because when the power fails and the sun blazes overhead, your survival depends on what you do before the lights go out.